Now the next topic is lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is again an important topic which covers a weightage of 3 marks. Now the first thing that we need to understand is what is lymph. Lymph is an extracellular fluid. Now when I say an extracellular fluid, it means the fluid that is present outside the cells or which bathes the cell. Now we know that we have a closed type of circulatory system, that the entire fluid is moving in a closed vessels. During the process, when it moves into the body, when it is moving through the major arteries and the major veins, it meets the capillaries that we have done previously. That in the capillaries there are smaller pores. If the blood is moving with a very high pressure, during that process certain amount of fluid passes on from the capillaries and comes into the extracellular space. That process is referred to as diapedesis. So lymph is formed by the process of diapedesis and it comes into the extracellular space. Therefore we also call lymph as extracellular fluid. Now because it is moving in through the blood vessels and it is coming out of the blood vessels where the RBCs are not filtered. So it does not contain any sort of RBCs, but during that process some amount of lymphocytes pass on through the capillaries and come into that extracellular space along with plasma. So the color of lymph is slightly yellow. We say blood is red in color because it contains hemoglobin. Lymph is yellow in color because it is not containing RBCs, rather than it is containing WBCs. So what is lymph? It is a light yellow color fluid that is formed by the process of diapedesis. Now I hope you understood what is diapedesis. Diapedesis is infiltration of the blood, leaving the extracellular, leaving the fluid to come into the extracellular space. That fluid which comes into the extracellular space was now referred to as lymph. Now the lymph contains two parts, plasma and lymphocytes. Because the fluid that comes out is plasma and it is containing the WBC, specific WBC is lymphocytes. These lymphocytes are the major cells that provide immunity to our body. So the body can fight against infections or is fighting against any diseases because of the presence of these lymphocytes. Now there is a separate process of transportation of this lymph into the body. There is a parallel system that runs into the body to pass on this fluid, lymph, into the body cells. Now this fluid, I said, is an extracellular fluid because it baths the cells outside the body cavity or outside the blood vessels, and this is also called as ECF. Now what is the process? Basically lymph is moving on through the different parts called as the lymph nodes, lymph vessels and lymph capillaries. So what are lymph capillaries? These thin walled structures which are highly permeable tubes in which the lymph is traveling is called as the lymph capillaries. They move on and form or join these larger vessels. These larger vessels are referred to as lymph vessels. These lymph vessels would carry the lymph and ultimately come and join with the major venous system. Venous system runs parallel to the heart or situated near the heart. We have another sub-heart called as cisterna chyli. That is a part of class 10 syllabus, much higher level. So we will not study that in detail. But I can tell you this, that these lymph capillaries would join a larger vessels called as lymph vessels, and the lymph vessels would drain the entire fluid into the venous system. These capillaries and lymph travel or pass on or transport the lymph in only one direction. The movement of lymph in the body is unidirectional, whereas the movement of blood into the body is bidirectional. So the lymph travels only in one direction, that is unidirectional. During the course you can see these red dots. These red dots are the lymph nodes. The lymph passes on through the lymph nodes situated at different parts of the body. These lymph nodes contain lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are also responsible for secretion of certain antibodies. So when the lymph travels through these lymph nodes, it takes in more number of lymphocytes which help us in getting protected against certain diseases and killing of the bacteria or any other microorganism which infest our body. So lymph is an immune system part which is providing immunity because of the presence of lymphocytes. It is also another fluid medium that travels into the body and is pumped into the body, but the direction is one. It is unidirectional flow in the body, whereas blood moves bidirectionally, and it is traveling through the body through different lymph vessels and a venous system along which runs parallel to the heart.